Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us again on Women Have Needs Too. Women have needs too. Today, we need to learn about being redefined, and we're here today with Laura Hartmann with H&F Redefined, and you're going to tell us all about what H&F Redefined is.
I am. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Number one. Well, H&F Redefined is I guess we call it a brand. It's a promotional network that myself and my best friend, who unfortunately could not be here today,
Gladdy.
Gladdy Cologne, yeah, she's off back in the workforce, so we're applauding her right now
Yes.
for
Yay.
being one of the few lucky ones that has been able to get back into work. But Gladdy and I both decided to create this brand after knowing each other about 20 years. And we met each other when we were in hospitality school, UCF Rosen College of Hospitality, and kind of, I guess you could say, fell in love with each other as best friends. We just kind of identified one another as, wow, she gets me, I get her, we're going to be great partners together in college, and just kind of hit it off ever since. And she's kind of been that ride or die for me, and vice versa. And we always wanted to start our own event company because we both were very passionate about the hospitality industry, the event industry, and ever since we graduated, we had this very parallel path, and essentially that path led us to having the exact same assistant director title at the same hotel brand.
Different hotels, same brand.
Different hotels, sister properties, but two big box properties. And essentially, we say, and then we got furloughed together. So kind of a unique story. So H&F Redefined is really based on the foundation of our brand, of just us together, and then deciding, okay, now we're both furloughed together, we're supporting one another, what can we do during this downtime? And it just hit us, maybe now is when we should start our company. And initially, of course, we said event consulting, event management, but then thought there's no events right now, probably not the best time to do that. We can layer that into what we build, but we really wanted to do something that had more of a community outreach undertone to it, and a give back to not just the hospitality industry, but other people that were in our shoes. And so hence H&F Redefined was born. And what we do is we have dug deep and we have found our kind of passion, or redefined or rediscovered our passion for writing and blogging. And now we search the nation for, we call them our innovators. There are furloughed and laid off professionals that basically lost their job and have now decided to redefine their circumstances and say, I don't know when I'm going to get recalled, or maybe I'm not finding a job, so I'm going to turn my side hustle or my hobby or just whatever other skill it is that they're passionate about or have rediscovered about themselves into their own brand or business. So we are finding those individuals, and we write editorial style features about them, and we publish those as blogs on our webpage, and we promote them on social media. So essentially, we kind of become like their PR marketing agency that is helping them get that boost of exposure to get them off their feet. So,
I love it.
Thank you.
Love it. And I love how on, it's either on your Facebook page or your website, I can't remember which one it is, but you and Gladdy kind of tell your story.
Yes.
It's really cute.
Yeah, so we kicked off the first two blogs is a two-part story, and it's a tale of two furloughs. So she does part one is Gladdy's story, and then I tell mine, and that's part two. And then from there we kind of roll into enough about us, let's talk about the innovators. And then so within our blog we have a couple different categories. We have our innovators, where all of the stories that we feature and publish live within that one category forever. And then we also have our lifestyle blogs, where that's she and I just kind of having those inspired moments and running to the laptop and shelling out a story, or sometimes jotting down, okay, this just happened. I'm going to have to write about this. Let me get those ideas down, and coming back and layering a story. And
Give me an idea of a couple of those lifestyle stories that you've written.
So I would say one that stands out is one that I did, how pop-up events are different in 2020, a lesson in relinquishing control.
That's
and,
huge,
yeah,
relinquishing control, because a lot of people have problems.
Yes.
You know, they might have control issues, and when something like this, you know, turns your life upside down, all of a sudden you feel like you have no control over anything at all, and you don't know if you ever will again.
And especially when you are somebody who has been in the event industry, meeting planner industry. I mean, we are notorious for being control freaks, needing a certain organized, chaotic structure that doesn't make sense, but it does to us, and being perfectionists. And now suddenly you're in a new normal where all of that's gone, and you've got a new set of circumstances that you're trying to control, but you just can't. And for me, this is where kind of my story as a mom comes into play. Is I'm the one of the two that has the little kids at home. I've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, both boys. They provide me with a lot of content to talk about.
I bet they do.
They do. And I guess you could say the way my quirky mind works is I'm always kind of, when I'm at work or when I was at work, in my mind translating certain scenarios back to how I would use that skill or this skill at play at home. And now it's vice versa. Now I'm navigating my everyday life with these little, I call them my internal clients, my little internal clients that are calling the shots, and I have to pretend like they're my little meeting planners.
Right, and you have to wrangle them in.
I've got to wrangle them in. And
no, we're not having cookies for dinner.
Exactly. And so the pop-up story is about, it's kind of like that industry tie-in, and you know, the dreaded pop-up events that especially anybody in a hotel knows and dreads, and you appreciate them.
It happens.
It happens. You take it with stride, but at the end of the day, you're cringing the second your client says, "I have a pop-up," because you know what's about to happen. And
the proverbial stuff is going to hit the fan.
Exactly. And
you have to control it all.
You have to control it all, and you have to say, "No problem."
Yes.
And
with
go
a
behind,
smile.
Yeah, and go behind the scenes and make it all work and exceed their expectations. And on this particular story was a day that I woke up to my 4-year-old at my bed and said, "Mommy, it is Darth Vader Bear's birthday today." And it's his little stuffed animal Star Wars Darth Vader bear, like a Build-A-Bear. And he was all in. Like, it's his birthday. We're having a party.
Celebrate.
The whole day we're celebrating, and there's going to be a birthday party at the end of the day. And it just made me, in my mind, I was like, did I just get a pop-up? And so that's kind of how this story is. And it's about the entire day of me navigating my little internal client.
I love it.
The cupcakes and relinquishing the control so that he could be happy and have a great day. So there's a lot of that. And
that makes you a special mom and a special meeting planner.
I guess. But we definitely like to, with the lifestyle blogs, you know, once in a while it is just kind of I got to get this out and I just need to write about it. But more often than not, we usually try and tie the lifestyle blog into a story that incorporates the innovator that we're featuring that week. Sometimes it's easier than other, depending on their brand or their product.
Yeah.
But for example, Orange and Field is a really cool DIY lifestyle brand that
Orange and
Field. And they're everywhere. They have a YouTube channel. They are Twitter, Facebook. They don't really do LinkedIn. But Instagram, Facebook, they have a really big following, but they have a variety of DIY recipes to home crafts to kids crafts. They incorporate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they incorporate their daughter Charlotte, and she they call her Chef Charlotte. So she does like a little series of kids crafts and activities, and that was a natural brand for me to take to. So
Yeah.
I did a lot, especially leading up to Halloween. We put their YouTube videos on at home, and my boys and I watched the videos, and Cooper, my 4-year-old, said, I want to make that craft and make that recipe. And
Cute.
so we experienced it, and then it's natural for me to write about that.
Yeah. So is that something, are they, were they innovators, the Orange and Field, were they furloughed?
They were furloughed.
All of your innovators have been furloughed.
Yeah, furloughed or laid off.
Or laid off.
Exactly, yeah. And then we recently launched, we're 2 weeks in now, we recently launched a new category called our light bulb moments.
Oh.
And the light bulb moments are more of a Q&A style interview for, they're a little bit shorter, quicker content, but they're intended for when we get the submissions in. Certain stories are like, wow, you know, they have this really long story. There's a lot of depth there, or they have a brand that's been developed for a long time, versus maybe there's some story that comes through and there's a piece about their story where they clearly have that light bulb moment of, and I just knew in that moment I had to start an Etsy shop or whatever it is. So we kind of vet the submissions as they come through, and it's great having this new category
And put them
now.
in the category that they need to be in.
Exactly. Or also, if they're not furloughed or laid off, this is now an opportunity for us to expand the reach of what we're doing, but maintain the integrity of always focusing on the furloughed, laid off individuals. Those will always be our features. We will never feature somebody that was not in that category. They're what started this. But the light bulb moments, we're finding there are still people that should be applauded for doing something, you know, doing something different and unique and taking the risk. So,
Yes. So it sounds to me like the whole purpose of
H&F.
H&F Redefined. I want to ask you, what did H&F stand for?
Great question. So H is heart. Well, I'm Hartmann is my last name. And F is for faith, which is Gladys' middle name.
Oh.
So H&F Redefined is the overall kind of parent brand, and then as we slowly, softly develop our skills and our services is event consulting, which now that she has a new job, we're going to kind of be redeploying how that's going to play out. That side brand is called Heart and Faith. That way we can kind of separate the two.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
So H-A-R-T, Heart and Faith?
H-A-R-T from Hartmann, and then Heart and Faith.
I love it. So it sounds to me like H&F Redefined, the sole purpose of it is to showcase the people across the country who have been furloughed or laid off, and let them shine in how they have been redefined.
Absolutely.
And how they have redefined their lives.
Exactly.
Have you done anything, have you done anything as far as showing people the steps to get redefined? Have you?
So that is kind of coming soon.
Oh,
we
good.
are starting to develop that.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Well, yeah, and that's we're in the very kind of infant stages of that. We've just been working super hard on getting a lot of good content and a really healthy pipeline of our innovators to feature. And making sure that we are not just focusing on Orlando, because it's easy to get kind of stuck with the local Orlando.
It is, because there's so much going on here.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we really work hard to make sure that we are finding people from all over the country and kind of peppering in those other states. So like Dallas we have represented, and New York, and we have Philadelphia coming up, and we've got our sights set on some Denver girls and a San Francisco girl. So making sure that that foundation and the content is really there.
Yeah.
And now we are going to be kind of moving into starting more of some sponsorships and partnership opportunities as we are getting more interest from people that are seeing, we love what you're doing. How can we be a part of it?
Wonderful.
So we would love to really start to find, other organizations that are excited and passionate about our mission and say, hey, we want to be a sponsor or a partner, and we have XYZ service that could help your innovators get their business off the ground. And now we have like a partner page where we can tell our innovators, whether it's personally or starting your business, here are some great resources for you to help you build a website, get your finances in order, get your LLC filed.
I love it.
So those are kind of things that, we started this as, hey, let's do the blog and let's just do good work. And every day there's new angles about it.
That's beautiful.
So,
isn't that exciting?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And every day you're like, oh, wow, this is growing bigger and bigger. And this could really be,
You've redefined yourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
In a very positive way.
Yeah.
Because you're not just creating an outreach for others in your arena, but you're creating a resource for people to redefine themselves. And it's inspiring because women have needs too. That's our whole thing is to inspire and empower women to create that life that they want.
Right.
And you are inspiring people, even if they have not yet redefined themselves, you're inspiring people to say, hey, they did that, why can't I? And not just you and Gladdy, but you're innovators. If they read each of those innovator blogs, are they blogs, the innovators doing the blogs?
So they're written as editorial style feature stories. And we have, on our webpage, we have a showcase page, and there's always the most recent 3 innovator features are on the showcase page. And then every week we update our homepage with a new feature. And that brand is kind of like our feature brand of the week that we're pushing a little extra hard on social media, or maybe writing the lifestyle blog of that week. And then once they've all kind of rotated through and had their turn on showcase page and homepage, they get archived over to the blog. That way their story always lives online forever for them to use as their own resource. For them
beautiful.
To put it on their website and say, I was featured here, and it doesn't just disappear.
Nice. So we have a few minutes left. We do have a few minutes left. So I would like to talk to you about advice for people who, A, have not redefined themselves, or B, have redefined themselves, and they're at the beginning stages of redefining themselves. Do you have any kind of advice that you can offer?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first thing that I tell anybody when I get that text or that phone call of somebody who's maybe, I guess, been able to hold on a little longer at work, or wasn't in the first phase of layoffs or furloughs and now have gotten that call, is trust me, it's a cycle. And this is exactly what's going to happen to you. You're going to have a cycle of emotions, and this is what they're going to be. They're going to be, in bed with the covers over your head for days, the crying, there's going to be the anger, the bitter, the resentment, the envy, then the, okay, I can move on, to no, I can't, it's the back and forth.
Right. And the length of time is probably different for everybody.
Exactly.
Because mine was about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Literally.
And everyone's story is different. But it's been interesting because there's some of us that it's March. You'll hear thousands of people say it was
March 13th.
March, exactly. March, where there was this huge wave of us that were in that March group.
Yeah.
And then got laid off in that August, September timeframe. Well, we're all a little bit more mentally sane and healthy at this point because we've gone through the phases of the self-discovery and the personal growth and pulling out who I am as a person, and holding on to your faith and your family, and we're all a little bit more past that, where if you're just coming on board, we're all looking at you now and saying,
we know where you are.
We know where you're going. We've been there. Hold on tight. One of our innovators, she's actually our feature this week, Gin and Tonic is her brand name, and she is.
Is it JEN?
Or
is it GIN?
So
like
her
Gin
name,
and Tonic?
It's Jen. So her
Okay.
name is Jenna Craven, and she is in right outside of Dallas in Rowlett. But she had just moved to. She was an Orlando girl, kind of running the beverage program at a huge resort here in town, and known for her level 2 sommelier. She's a mixologist, just
wow.
knows everything about beverage. Had just gotten a big promotion out in Texas, and 6 weeks after uprooting her life, moving there, got furloughed.
Oh my gosh.
Knew nobody. Her story is just so
No.
cool. But ended up meeting her now boyfriend, who's a production guy, and they now do YouTube channels where he manages the production aspect of it and sets up these skits, and she does mixology classes.
Oh no way!
And
How
it's
fun!
so cool.
I need to check that out.
She is awesome, and she
Jen.
Yeah, and so the name of her
Jen and Tonic. You're getting us a shout out.
So Jen and Tonic, it's such a cool.
And she's featured in your light bulbs or
So
your
she's
innovator.
a feature. She's actually our feature this week. She's on our homepage, and she has a YouTube channel. And every few days she does a full-on show, and she does extensive research on every cocktail she makes, down to the garnish, the bitters, the syrups, how to make them from scratch, the history. She's really big on the history of like
interesting
where a Manhattan came from,
Yeah.
and she just has a cool take on it. But
That is cool.
The point about talking about her is when we interviewed her, I'll always remember her saying her advice would be, "Don't lose yourself," and that's
Some people need to find themselves before they can lose themselves.
That's true.
But,
that is true.
But it is, I mean, a lot of people who have been furloughed, they do lose perspective of who they are, or they've been working somewhere for 10 or 15 years and they have lost perspective of who they are.
Yes.
And now it's time
Correct.
to redefine themselves.
And that's exactly a lot of the stories I write. I get a little bit more like emotional than Gladys does.
Yeah.
Where I get a little bit.
I'm that way too.
I get a little bit more raw with my emotions
Yeah.
and kind of lay it out there in my writing. And if you read some of my stories, you'll see that I really am now, trying to listen and remember every time my husband or my friends or my parents tried to say, you're more than just this title. You're all
you have
these
so
other
much
things.
more going for you.
Exactly. And like one of the things
Don't
that
give up on yourself.
Right, exactly. Don't give
Yeah.
up. And I write in one of my stories, so guess what? Job's not there anymore, but the whole rest of your life is. Your
Exactly.
family, your kids.
We have
your actual life is
We have a
still
lot
there.
going on in our lives besides our job.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to have you back on again so we can talk
Fantastic.
about the next phase of
Yes.
H&F
Yeah.
Redefined, because
Yeah.
you have so much going on, and I can't wait to check out some of these innovators
Yeah.
and light bulbs.
And then we have, before I forget, we actually have a cool new concept coming up that we are working on behind the scenes right now, but will be launched within the next week or so, right before Thanksgiving. We are going to start adding a seasonal solutions page to the website, where what we do is I've kind of pulled all of our current innovators and said, hey guys, if you have something Thanksgiving related that you want us to feature, let me know, send me the content, and we'll have that on the website. Every season is going to be different for every brand,
Right.
but right now we have a table decor brand, a
Fun.
centerpiece brand.
Just in time for the holidays.
Yes, we've got Gin and Tonic doing some cocktails. We have
Fun.
Evolvin' Foods doing a couple dishes, and it's going to be let our innovators set your Thanksgiving table and everything that you need to set that table.
That's great.
So that'll be kind of cool for people to see how I can use these brands.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, tell us again the website.
So it's www.hfredefine.com, and there you can find all of our content, our blogs, and enjoy reading. Thank you.
I can't talk. Thank you so much. Women have needs too. Right now I need water. But right now, Let's redefine ourselves.
For a cocktail.
Have a great day and stay inspired.
Thank you.